Hello everyone, great to have you on the channel here of MeteoMark Weather. Indications are increasing that we could see our next tropical storm form sometime around Labor Day weekend into that first week of September. We're watching two particular areas as we go out here in time. One area is in the Northwest Caribbean, Eastern Gulf, and off the southeast U.S. coast, and the other is out here in the MDR, south and west of the Cape Verde Islands. We're going to be looking at all the possibilities here and all your weather. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start off with the European model, and I'll transition over to the GFS. We're dealing with what's left of Ernesto here. That's going to be booking it over the next 24 to 48 hours towards the British Isles, around that area of high pressure. There it is. By the 21st, it's literally into Ireland and Great Britain here as a massive low-pressure system and a very strong front. Now, as we head through the rest of the tropics here, there's a couple areas over the next couple days off the southeast coast, the Eastern Gulf, and we'll be watching these tropical waves here off the Cape Verde Islands. So let's just put this into motion. And as we go out in time, yeah, look at this. Jamaica, we get a strong tropical wave right around the 25th here. So as we head into Sunday, the middle to latter part of the weekend, we could be looking at some strong tropical wave action. There's a big one coming off the coastline here, and we're just going to line some of these just up one right after another. None of these actually look like they're going to develop here into the short term, but as we go out here in time, here's the 26th. This is where things really start to become a little interesting. We got a tremendous amount of moisture here from the Gulf of Mexico off the southeast coast. This front is not going anywhere. Eastern Caribbean, we have a lot of tropical wave action. And look at the intertropical convergence zone out here from the MDR to the Cape Verde Island area and just off the African coastline here. It's just going to continue to get more active. You can see as we head through the 28th here, Jamaica, you're going to be picking up some beneficial rain. Also Trinidad, Tobago, all the way up to the Leeward Islands, all the way essentially the Lesser Antilles up to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Bahamas, Central America. We're just going to be plastered with rain here, and we're just going to line up these big tropical waves out here as they perforate around this high-pressure system. Now, you start to notice there's another high just west of Bermuda here. If one of these becomes strong enough, I'm sure they'll recurve and find a weakness in the subtropical ridge and become a fish storm, but none of these look weak enough at this point, or strong enough, I should say, at this point to actually make that turn. So there we go. Through the 30th, we have a lot of strong tropical wave action going on here. And look at this out by the Cape Verde Islands. I think it's towards Labor Day weekend onward through that first and second week of September. That's when we're really going to start to see this potential development. So taking a look at our GFS model here, what is going on? We could actually see, a quiet start here, exception off the southeast U.S. coast where we see that slug of moisture with that stalled out frontal boundary. But look at out here into the MDR. This is actually looking very active as we head on into the 22nd, into the 23rd. And look at here around Florida. Yeah, we're going to see a tremendous amount of tropical moisture here just continuing from the Eastern Gulf across Florida and just off the Carolinas. It's going to be very close for you as well. We have some systems here into Central America. And look at this big wave just coming off of Africa here, getting ready to come off of Africa. These are some tremendous waves. The only thing is the dust has really been putting a dent in a lot of these waves, but here around the 29th, this is where we start to have a few areas of interest. This first area is west of Jamaica here, east of Belize. These areas could actually get a tremendous amount of rain here, moving up through just west of the Cayman Islands, right out here into the Northwest Caribbean. We also have another strong wave exiting Africa here, south of the Cape Verde Islands. This is where things could really start to come together out here into the MDR through the 31st. So we're going to have to watch some of these waves. Also, this moisture starts to meet up with a strong cold front here across eastern North America. Now, as you can see, showers and thunderstorms dotted across the Caribbean islands here. This is a very strong tropical wave that bears watching. This is September 2nd, so we're going to continue to watch this and look at these wave action here into the Northwest Caribbean. Very persistent with the moisture, and we have moisture feeding all the way up the U.S. East Coast by this point. We have this blocking Bermuda high to the east. So as we continue through the 3rd into the 4th, now we're starting to see these indicators really come together. Each model run, they bounce back and forth a little bit, but we see a very strong tropical wave here just south of the Cape Verde Islands. And most importantly, this massive tropical wave, the slug of moisture meeting up with all of this moisture that's been sitting across Florida and the Eastern Gulf, we could start to see something come together here into parts of the Eastern Gulf. And as we go into the last couple of frames, I caution you, this is 384 hours out. But it is interesting to look at the trends this far out, and we'll be looking at these over the next several days. The Gulf is really exploding here with what seems like activity. So that's going to have to bear watching. Not to say we're going to see a tropical storm or hurricane, but indications are seeming to increase or point that direction. And then out here by the Cape Verde Islands, this is where we're going to start to see the ITCZ really start to ramp up here. And of course, these high pressure systems should allow these systems to continue to spin towards the west. And before we continue, don't forget everyone, if you made it this far in the video and you like it, smash that like button. It really does help everyone. Question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, so hit that subscribe button, bell notification button, so you're alerted when I come out with any one of my video updates in the future. Let's get back into it. As we look at our temperature anomalies here, look at the North Atlantic here is so well above average, but look at the Gulf. Look at the North Central Gulf. We're running 3 to 5+ Celsius here. That's crazy. Look at the Caribbean. The MDR is slowly warming back up as the dust retreats. I really think we're heading towards a major issue here, especially over the next couple weeks to a month. Thanks to Tropical Tidbits for our model analysis here. Let's take a look at our European model first. As we continue to go out here in time, you can see there's a lot of dry air. There's a lot of dust here at mid-levels here, and that's just going to continue. We have a lot of high pressure around that's going to help spread this dust. Look at here into the eastern part of North America as well, a massive blocking high pressure. There's that dust kind of spinning around here, but look at these waves coming off of the Cape Verde Island areas. This is Sunday, August 25th. So as we continue to go out here in time, you can see some initialization here of some of these low pressure systems. And as I told you before, I know a lot of you are like, what are you talking about? It's so quiet. Well, yes, it is quiet right now, but look what's probably most likely going to be happening here over the next couple weeks. We're going to be looking at quite a bit of activity out here. And I think the dust is actually going to start to retreat a little bit more towards the northeast here. It's being depicted by our European model. And we start to have, look at these, some of these actually look like they could be tropical storms at this point. So this is August 30th, keeping very close watch. All right, so looking at our GFS model here, you can see dry air analysis, plenty of dust. It is trying to reinforce itself south of the Azores here. Lots of moisture bottled up here across the Gulf of Mexico through the 27th of August here. You can see the ITCZ really starting to heat up here with lots of moisture. That's going to continue to pinwheel westward here. Look at Central America and the Caribbean Islands by the 31st of August here. This is what I'm talking about. It's going to increase chances of potential tropical development. It doesn't mean tropical development, but it does really signify, here it is, we're trying to close off some sort of low pressure system around Monday, September 2nd here. And look at all this moisture. That's actually making a beeline right up the U.S. East Coast. So plenty of moisture to be had here. And then as we head through the last couple frames here, look at this. This looks really ominous across the Gulf, here across the Central Caribbean. And then look at this massive wave coming off the coast of Africa. All right, so taking a look at the CANSIPS model here gives us a really good idea of precipitation anomalies through the rest of August. We are looking at that hurricane highway here, tropical wave highway, as I'm pretty much agreeing with, especially as we head into late August here. That is just going to, well, we'll see if we can get some of this rainfall up the East Coast. I'm not so sure I'm in full agreement with that, but we'll see if that pans out. I'm pretty much really more certain with these tropical waves remaining pretty far to the south here for the most part. And as we continue out with our CANSIPS model for September, that only blossoms. Look at the MDR out here. These tropical waves come further to the north. You know there's going to be some recurvature out here, fish storms, which is some really excellent news. But then as we continue, I think the Caribbean and the Gulf and the southeast coast are really going to be under the gun here. Look at this. This is some great news here into eastern New England. Could this actually mean that we're going to get off with another season here without a landfalling hurricane? Possibly. But I caution you, look at October. Yeah, we have some positive anomalies. That could be with synoptic flow, though, because look at where our tropical flow is. Even the Gulf really starts to dry out here. Caribbean and out into the MDR will probably still be looking at some named storms here. And as we continue into November here, yeah, I still think we could be looking at named storms here deep into November. Well, here's our CFS weekly models. We round out this week. We can see, yeah, this is where we're going to be watching closely to see if there's any chance we could see some moderate to medium-term tropical developments. Most likely not this week, but out here towards the Cape Verde Islands, we'll be watching it as we head into next week through the end of August. Look what's happening out here. We're going to watch these areas because we probably will have some of these tropical waves go tropical storm on us as we head through the first week of September here through September 10th to the peak. Look at this. Yeah, this is looking rather ominous, pretty much lining up here with the CANCIPS models. We head through the middle part of September, I should say. Look at this. These two areas, definitely the Eastern Gulf, Southeast Coast, and Cape Verde Islands here. Watch out. And then as we head towards the end of September, look what's happening. This is kind of interesting. These anomalies are pointing towards more fish storms out here. That would be some great news. But we got to watch the Gulf, Southeast Coast. And down into the Caribbean here in Central America. Yeah, we're actually going to get some showers as we head into the weekend. Showers and thunder showers towards Jamaica. Probably get about 45 to 80 millimeters of rainfall, anywhere from about 3/4 to 1 1/2 inches. So watch out for that. Into Central America, things will start to surge as far as moisture here as well as we head through the end of the month. This takes us through August 30th. And look at the northern Bahamas and Florida. This is where you could see 70 to as much as 110 millimeters, anywhere from 2.5 to as much as 3.5 inches of rain. And the Eastern Caribbean here through the Eastern Bahamas. What is going on, everybody? We will be getting those tropical waves moving through. First one here as we get into the weekend here. Northern Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico here. Let's get that out of the way. And all the way through the Bahamas here. So we'll pick up anywhere from 1.5 inches, 2 inches, anywhere from about 50 to as much as 100 millimeters here in some of these localized areas. Most areas will eke out 30 to 50, 60 millimeters here. But look at as we get through next week, look what starts to happen in the red here. This is where you'll be getting 60 to as much as 110 millimeters of rainfall here. That will put us up, with all of these tremendous tropical waves, so watch out. That's about 1.5 inches to as much as 3.5 inches of rain. To the Eastern Pacific, we could be looking at some activity here. Look at this, 90%, 50%. Will any of these affect Hawaii? Well, let's go out here. This one in particular, this is the 22nd. This is the one that stands a good chance of development. We may actually, at this point, this is the 24th, so this only is actually out Saturday. This is coming in on the big island of Hawaii. Look at this. Could we actually have a tropical storm or low-end hurricane coming really close or over the big island here? And then right up the island chain. This is crazy. Stay tuned. This could get very interesting. And then another one to the east is kind of forced up and over as we kind of get the effect as two dancing tropical storms around each other. And heading to the Western Pacific, at the moment, there's not too much to talk about, but there probably will be. Look at the 22nd here. This thing in particular, we're going to be watching this because watch what the European model does with this storm. It starts blowing it up, and it starts moving it in the direction of Japan. Now, you can see the Philippines down here. Still tremendous tropical moisture. Vietnam up to southeast China is starting to dry out a bit. But let's zoom in on our feature here. This is the 25th into the 26th. We could have a landfalling tropical storm or typhoon here right around the 26th into the 27th. And then it might turn right into the westerlies, right up the Japanese islands here. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on here. As we head through the 28th, look at some of these strong tropical waves out here. Philippines just getting socked in through the South China Sea. Tremendous amount of moisture. None of these look like they're going to develop at this point, but you never know. Because when you get these persistent showers and thunderstorms, That's all you have to do. Get 5, 6, 7, 8 days of that, and then they start to form some kind of circulation. We'll continue to watch it here into the Western Pacific. All right, so let's look at our HRRR future radar here as we continue to go out here in time, overnight hours. Yeah, we got Florida in the crosshairs here. We got a few showers and thunder showers out towards Iowa and up here into northern New England, southeast Canada. You can see where that pattern of that upper level low is. South Florida getting skimmed here, but let's zoom in here into our upper level low. So as we continue into the rest of the day here's 11 a.m. Right down the I-81 corridor, we could see some heavier showers and thunder showers, so watch out. It's just going to be a really cool day. It's going to feel like fall. North and northwesterly winds, especially some lake-enhanced precipitation here as well with the heavier rains. Now, as we head through the rest of your afternoon into the evening, we're going to be watching some of these showers and thunder showers drift southward here. Some lake enhancement, and you can see that rotation going on right around Vermont here, so in southern Quebec. That's where our low is. It's just southeast of Montreal. But as we head through, look at here it is on the 22nd. As we head on into Thursday, we're going to watch this low pressure try to pull up slowly into Quebec here. Now, this is what I wanted to draw your attention to. Look at Florida. Doesn't look bad until, there it is, noon and 1 p.m. here on Wednesday. So as we continue in time, look at this. We're going to be having a lot of heavy gully washers down here. Some of these could drop a tremendous amount of rain. As we head through 8 a.m. on the 22nd into Thursday, we could have a big line of showers and thunderstorms pushing here just north of Cape Coral and between Tampa as well here. And look at this. We're just going to massive explosion of showers and thunderstorms through 2 p.m. on Thursday. And look at as we head up the coast, just off the coast of the Carolinas. All right, so let's take a look at where we picked up with our future radar. As we continue through the 22nd into the 23rd, you can see where the bad weather is going to be. We're going to have Florida pretty much be the target because we have blocking high here into the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. We have some systems that'll be forced up and over this high-pressure system that will go into the Midwest and into southeast Canada. So as we continue to go into the 23rd, into the 24th, you can see the southeast coast is going to be the focal point for the worst weather. Now, I can't say that you probably do need the rain in many parts of Florida here, but, you know, too much of a good thing is often no good at all. So as we head through the 26th here, we're just socked in. Even South Georgia, coastal areas of the Carolinas have to watch this because it's going to be really close for you. Look at the Outer Banks. Look how close this moisture is just hanging out. And of course, we'll see these upper level lows pinwheel across northern New England here. And as we head through the 27th into the 28th, look at this. We actually start to see the surge of tropical moisture into Texas and Louisiana. So you probably need the rain over there. You've had baking a triple-digit heat. As we head into the 28th, into the 29th, look at this. The Gulf really starts to light up for moisture, and that feeds into a strong cold front across the east here. And a liquid equivalent precipitation here for your rainfall amounts. We're actually not going to have too much the rest of this week. Florida and northern New England, southeast Canada, that's where you're going to see about an inch or two. But most other areas here into upstate New York, 1/4 to 1/2 inch on Wednesday mainly. Look at off the southeast coast, though. This is where we're going to be watching and turning our attention to in the tropics. Just off the coast, unfortunately, central and southern Florida here will be getting that 2 to as much as 4.5 inches of rain. All right, so for our Canadian weather outlook here, let's take a look. As we head through the next couple days, it's mainly going to be southeast Canada here, Quebec, southern Ontario, New Brunswick. We're going to get some upper level low action here. It's going to bring some beneficial rains as we head through the 22nd into the 23rd. You can see that's moving towards New Brunswick here, as well as Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island here. Nova Scotia, eastern Nova Scotia as well. Let's just zoom out here. You can see another system moving through. We're also going to start to see some more storminess here into the north central provinces. Now watch what starts to happen here as we head towards the 25th into the 26th. It gets much quieter back to the east with the exception of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia here, but look at this big low-pressure system ejecting from the American Rocky Mountains here. That is going to be going into the Canadian plains, and that is going to be spreading a tremendous amount of rainfall here, and I'll go over those rainfall amounts momentarily with you. But look at eastern Canada, really starting to dry out here as that system moves to the east. Maybe a few heavier showers and thunderstorms here into northern Quebec, and another system. We're just going to start lining up these systems with a strong cold front across Manitoba and Saskatchewan here. So watch out for some strong to severe thunderstorms as we head to the 27th into the 28th. That combines forces with another cold front here across the United States here. And look at really drying out here across Southeast Canada, with the exception for these areas in the Canadian Maritimes where we're continuing to stay very wet. And it's not until the 30th here we have a massive low-pressure system bombing up towards Hudson Bay, and that's going to be dragging a very sharp cold front here through southern Ontario and Quebec. We could have some flooding concerns as well as strong to severe thunderstorms. And let's take a look at our Canadian rainfall here. Yeah, it's going to be mainly dry, except Southeast Canada here with that upper level low and a few systems until, look at the 27th through the 30th of August. This is going to be some beneficial rain here into the central provinces. Look at this, east of the Rockies into the plains. We could be picking up 90 to as much as 140 millimeters of rain in some of these areas with a big, massive storm. That is some great news. That's anywhere from about 3 to as much as 6.5, 7 inches of rain. Here into Southeast Canada, the southern provinces of Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland here, we'll pick up anywhere from about 60 to as much as 90 millimeters. Not too shabby, anywhere from 2 to as much as 4 inches. And before we continue, don't go anywhere. I got plenty more weather for you. Take a look at these awesome maps from my affiliate.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
All right, so as we take a look at our high temperatures here as we head into Wednesday through the rest of the week, look at that, 60s into parts of the Northeast, 70s in the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. You have to go down here into Texas and the Gulf Coast to get into these 90s and 100s. The West is starting to warm up here as well as the plains as we head into Thursday. Look what's going on here. This heat's going to start to bubble up. Still cool up here in the Northeast, 60s and 70s. But watch this as we head towards the weekend here. Look at these 80s, even upper 80s here into parts of southern Ohio. We're going to have a massive warming trend take over and a much drier weather pattern. Look at this massive heat. That's going to be bubbling eastward here as we head Saturday into Sunday. Some of these areas could be approaching 90 and beyond here into the Ohio Valley and parts of the Mid-Atlantic, so watch out for that. And as we get into Monday next week, guess what? The 90s are pretty much back across much of the east. A extended forecast from our hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this as we head through Wednesday. Showers will be continuing, through mid to late afternoon. Cloudy, and it will be cool into the low 60s, anywhere from a quarter to a half an inch. And a Wednesday night, those scattered showers look at down into the 40s for Thursday, into the 70s, and then look at that, a warming trend towards the weekend as temperatures warm up into the 80s. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.